Hello, everybody, and welcome back to Let's Talk Tech, the podcast where we talk about technology. I'm Aidan, and that's Bryce.
What's up, everyone?
Today we have some interesting stories, but first we want to go back to the name. We have decided to keep it.
Yes, we have. We decided that Let's Talk Tech is a good enough name.
Yep, we decided 1 to 3 ratio. It was good enough for us.
Yeah.
It kind of gets the point through that we're a tech podcast, but we also do talk.
Yeah.
And we are Let's, apparently.
Yeah, I guess so. So, I mean, it works.
Mm-hmm.
I guess we can't really complain about the name anymore. That's okay. You know, we had lots of meetings, lots of internal discussions.
Yeah.
Like, this name, what do we do about it?
Hours and hours of meetings.
And ultimately, everybody just decided, let's keep it.
Yep.
So, we're keeping it. But that's beside the point.
Mm-hmm.
We've got some tech news to talk about today.
Yep.
Because the Galaxy Fold has failed.
We were a little skeptical.
Yeah, so you might remember this phone from quite a few weeks ago, actually.
Mm-hmm.
The Galaxy Fold was that foldable phone that we saw at Mobile World Congress back in March.
It was released with like 3 other phones?
Yeah, there was like 3 phones.
Or foldable phones.
Foldable phones that week. Way more phones than that. But,
yeah.
The Galaxy Fold was Samsung's foldable phone. They were kind of the first to start development, I think, on the foldable phone. And then everyone else kind of jumped on board. But we were very skeptical about how durable these things would actually be.
Yeah, because it has a plastic screen. Everybody was a little bit worried.
Yeah, well, not only that, but the plastic screen it wasn't just that. It was like, well, what are we supposed to do when it breaks?
Yeah, I mean, because a plastic screen breaking is a lot worse than a glass screen breaking. It doesn't just shatter; it delivers all of that to the LCD. So you have to replace the LCD. You have to. I mean, in a plastic screen replacement, you have to deal with so much more than just a glass screen.
Well, not only that, but just the fold itself seemed to be very unstable. Or not unstable, just seemed to be very fragile. You know, you could see the crease, even though they tried to hide it as best as possible.
Yeah.
Where the phone folded, you could obviously see that, and that was a little iffy for some people.
And it turns out it had some problems.
Yes, so some of the reviewers, the tech reviewers, got their review units in. And keep in mind, Samsung was very strict about these review units.
Yeah.
You get only 10 days with these things. So all these YouTubers and stuff, they get theirs, and they start breaking the day after.
In large quantities. I mean, I know of like 3 or 4. I mean, some were because of mishap on using them. But some just happened out of the blue.
Oh, yeah. So it was like just randomly starts screen spazzing out. It was crazy. I mean, sure, I've dropped my phone a couple of times. Heck, I've had a phone fall in a lot of water. And never have I ever had a screen act like the way we're seeing these Galaxy Folds act.
I mean, mass pixel debt.
Oh, like, not just damage. It just looks scary what's happening to these screens.
Yeah.
Very, very, very concerned about the actual durability of this. You might remember there was this plastic layer sort of on top of the screen that they thought it was a screen protector.
Yeah, some reviewers...
People tried to take off these screen protectors, and it turns out that's actually a permanent part of the device, and suddenly you've got a big problem. Yeah,
I mean, so that was some of the intentional things, but a lot of people were talking about, well, it looks like a screen protector. The adhesive is a little bit stronger than a screen protector, which is good.
Yeah.
But not much. And people had problems with using it as their daily driver, using it daily, and the screen peeling on the edges. Having it peel, and that was a huge problem, because some people did peel it off, but knowing that the phone, after a week or 10 days of use by the reviewers, is already breaking, I mean, they must not have done much testing.
No, do you think they did any testing at all?
I mean, real world use? I mean, I understand not allowing their employees to have it out in the wild with them.
Yeah.
That makes sense, because it's with iPhones and stuff, you can sort of like play it off. Like, I mean, it looks like iPhones generally look the same if it's not like a huge major change. So you can.
Foldable device is going to be extremely.
Oh yeah, people are going to see you folding it and testing it out in the wild, and people are going to be taking pictures and speculating. So obviously Samsung wanted a big reveal, so they didn't allow that. But they have to have people in a lab somewhere just testing it, just sitting in a lab, folding it.
I mean, looking at the durability of these things, it makes you wonder if they actually tried slamming it at all.
Yeah.
Like, did they slam it at all?
Because you know that's going to happen.
Because, I mean, sure, people... when you see, like, the Samsung representatives at Mobile World Congress, when they were using it, they're, like, being super careful. They're like, oh, yeah, let me see it unfolds.
Yeah, even the reviewers were being quite careful with it.
Oh, yeah, even the reviewers, because, you know, you don't want to generate the bad press of it suddenly breaking.
Which has already been generated.
Yeah, unfortunately. But, like, it makes you wonder if Samsung was actually trying to, like, use it regularly and not being super ultra careful with how they were folding.
I mean, so we did talk that there were other foldable phones in Mobile World Congress. I wonder if they'll be different. Will they survive the test of time? I mean, this technology seems pretty standard at this point. It seems like Samsung researched it, and everybody's sort of jumping on and doing around the same thing. If every phone has this layer, has these creases and blemishes in the screen, is that just going to cause these major problems with all these phones?
I don't know. I think it was a design fault with Samsung.
You think so?
I think so. I think it was just poor execution. Samsung was trying to rush a little bit. It just seemed like Samsung was kind of like, ooh, we better get this out.
Yeah.
Boom. Hopefully they take some time to look at it, investigate what the problem is, and hopefully they can fix it. I don't know what to tell you about how something like that breaks. All I do know is it's got problems that need to be fixed before this goes to mass market.
Yeah, I mean...
We don't know when these will go to mass market. Obviously, they've been delayed indefinitely since this happened. And it seemed widespread with all of the tech reviewers having issues. So that could be a big problem that Samsung somehow overlooked. AT&T was selling these phones and told their customers it would be coming in June. We'll have to see about that.
Yeah.
And iFixit had a video and teardown showing the insides of the device and all that. And Samsung forced them to take it down.
Really?
So there could be a little bit of secrecy going on there.
Yeah, some major flaws. I mean, it's not a new thing for tech companies to be a little bit weary about iFixit and these other third party. I mean, Apple especially has been really, really secretive about their products. But for a phone that's breaking in the mass, I mean, you got to wonder, is there a major flaw that they're trying to cover up?
I don't know if there's a major flaw that they're trying to cover up. I think it just has a lot of widespread issues that make a bad device. So, yeah, there's that problem. Let's talk about something else, though. There's really not a whole lot to say. But let's talk about Tesla.
Yep, so more news about Tesla. Tesla has a new thing, and they released a video, I believe it was Wednesday?
Yeah, so you guys will see the video in the bottom right-hand corner of the screen, or bottom corner of the screen. We've got a little video here. Tesla unveiled its full autopilot, showed it off for the first time, going through stoplights, stuff like that.
Very interesting, and you can see on the center console, it's actually mapping out the route, and it's following it very well.
It didn't seem to really have any problems from what I could see. Yeah,
I mean, I wonder if this route had been mapped out before.
Oh, definitely. Definitely. It had definitely been mapped out ahead of time because it looked to me like the route was kind of a circle. It didn't seem like a point A to point B. It seemed like they were going around because it made that U-turn on the overpass at one point.
Yeah, I'm wondering if cars had gone out there and scanned the roads for potential errors, because that's one thing people have been saying with their autopilot. When you go through an intersection or there's breakaway lines for left turns and you want to go straight, it follows whatever lines it sees.
Yeah, so we'll have to see how this turns out, this whole full autopilot thing.
Yeah.
I honestly am kind of skeptical of the idea that Teslas don't need more sensors.
Yeah.
I think they need a little more in the sensor department in order to become more reliable.
Well, I mean, they have been selling these cars, the Model 3s, with full autopilot for a while now, for $5,000 extra, I believe.
Well, I mean, the full autopilot hasn't rolled out yet.
Yeah, but they say it's just a software update.
Yeah, they're saying it's just a software update, which is why I'm a little worried, because I think they need more sensors if they want a reliable experience.
I think we've seen with autopilot for a while now that it's really reliable.
Autopilot's had its fair share of issues.
It has, but with a lot of cars driving on the road, they're collecting data constantly.
Yeah, crowdsourcing that data, kind of.
Yeah, I mean, you don't think about it, but Tesla is constantly taking in data from roads that people are driving on with all these sensors and just building up maps and maps and just masses of data about the roads and the conditions and the lines and all that. And I mean, I think personally, I don't imagine that they would need any more sensors. I mean, the fact that Tesla's come out and said these cars are ready, that's just a software update. I believe them.
I believe them too, but I'm more worried about the reliable experience type of thing. You know what I mean? Because like, Tesla doesn't like LiDAR. They think that LiDAR is too expensive and that it doesn't really help at all and all that. And I'm inclined to agree with them. I've seen LiDAR's limitations, especially in things like snow. Snow and rain will really mess up LiDAR, but that messes up optical image recognition as well. So what I'm a little worried about is I don't think there's enough cameras. I don't think these cars, sure, they've got radar galore, but I don't think they have enough cameras to build a more reliable picture, create a better depth map. It's all optical. And what Tesla needs to start doing is if you can include some more sensors, let's just say cameras, then you can begin creating a bit more of an accurate depth map. You can cross-check yourself. If a sensor goes bad, all of a sudden, you've got other things to counter that. That's why I'm kind of like, wow, Tesla doesn't have enough sensors, I think.
I think at this point, I mean, I think they're trying to get by on the lowest safe amount of sensors. I'm not saying by any means that they aren't safe.
Yeah, but that threatens safety.
I don't think they would go that far to threaten safety. I mean, they've been about making it the cheapest they can for a while.
Yeah.
Because, I mean, and they've been about cutting out the middleman. They're trying to get these cars out there. And I think the way Elon sees it is, I mean, these cars, sure, they maybe aren't the safest they could be if we invested like tens of thousands more dollars into each car. We could make them safer. But in the long run, I mean, if you see the pollution cars are making, in the long run, we're going to need these cars, and getting them out there faster is going to help us. So I think he's trying to do a cost-benefit analysis.
Yeah, I mean, that's a fair point. And I mean, you look at the cars that the Google self-driving car project, which is now Waymo, has created. What they've created is cars that really can't be owned privately. They've created ride-sharing taxis, basically. And that's kind of disappointing because of all the expensive LiDAR technology and all of that that's being included on these cars. Yeah. It seems unlikely that in the immediate future we'd be able to own these cars ourselves. Yeah. Whereas with Tesla, you could go out and buy a Tesla right now.
Yeah, for a reasonable amount of money, I might add.
It's not complicated either.
Yeah.
Whereas Waymo, in my opinion, seems to be nowhere near offering these things for sale.
Oh, yeah.
They're only just now getting started with their ride-sharing taxi program, and that's only in one city, Phoenix, Arizona.
It doesn't seem to be a consumer product.
No, it doesn't at all, and it seems like the Google self-driving car project has gone from, here, we could help people with disabilities and stuff, to, let's make a really fancy ride-sharing project. Do you know what I mean? It just doesn't work.
I mean, we'll have to see. Personally, I trust Tesla.
Oh, I do too.
I trust the autopilot. I think maybe they could make it safer. I think LiDAR isn't the direction to go in.
No, I agree with that. I think LiDAR is way too expensive, and that's why Waymo can't offer their cars for sale yet.
Yeah, I think optical sensors are, I mean, at the array they have them now, maybe they could add a few more sensors and add some safety, but when you think about it, they're trying to do bare bones. They're trying to think real-world situations.
But I mean, how expensive are the cameras, do you think?
I mean,
because it's really the autopilot technology that powers it all. You could, and the cameras are fairly low resolution from what I've seen.
When you think about cameras, though, for that you have to redesign a whole bunch of the software.
Well, not only that, and then you have to redesign the body of the car.
You have to redesign the body. You have to redesign the body. There's a whole bunch of design and testing you have to go through. For that all, there's costs that are tied to that.
And I bet Tesla doesn't really want an ugly looking car with a bunch of cameras built in. I mean,
yeah, they want something sleek.
Yeah. So I think that's fair. Like I said, I'm just a little concerned about that. I think maybe they could benefit from, maybe even when they make more premium cars that are more expensive, if they ever do, they could include some more sensors, or if they're able to get the cost down, just to make sure that it is reliable. That's all I'm suggesting.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think at this moment they're focusing on range, though, because they're making 370-mile range cars now.
You're right. 370 miles now available. That's insane on an electric car.
Thinking how far back, this isn't long after the creation of electric cars, and we're already at 370 miles.
Well, not only that, I don't know if you remember the Top Gear episode a long time ago, where Jeremy Clarkson drives that was the first Tesla model, one of those models, and immediately it just goes dead. It's neat to see these things becoming sport vehicles almost.
Yeah.
Like, we're seeing very similar capabilities in these cars as we would with regular cars.
Yeah, at this point, the range is only a cost thing.
Yeah.
They're just trying to keep costs down. Because Tesla's shown interest in getting into the battery producing industry. I think once they actually start making batteries...
Gigafactory is a big help.
Once they start making a ton of batteries, I think we only see prices going down.
I think that's fair.
So I believe you have a story about the whole podcasting world.
Yeah, the whole podcasting world is in a little bit of a jeopardy. Maybe not the whole podcasting world. We saw this new app get developed all of a sudden called Luminary. It's this new podcasting app, and they're trying to offer free podcasts and premium podcasts.
Yeah.
And this launch has just been a disaster on this app.
It really has.
It launched this week, and they had the issue of people were skeptical of their business model, which I'll get to in a second. Major podcasts pretty much refused to put their podcasts on Luminary, and they also just started pulling their shows from the app after the launch when they realized it wasn't going to work out. Luminary's faulty business model, though, was to offer lots of free shows, which would hopefully try to convince people into signing up for a paid subscription where they would get exclusive shows.
Yeah.
So that didn't quite work out. People aren't getting paid as much as they want to, things like that. It was also ad-free, if I'm not mistaken, so there's no ad revenue coming in there as well. Here on the show, we can make money from ads and things like that. Whereas on Luminary, they don't want ads.
Yeah.
So it's like, well, how am I going to make money? Why should I put my show on your thing if I can't profit from it hardly at all?
Yeah.
It just didn't work out. And not only that, but smaller podcasts, such as ours, weren't even welcome.
Yeah, they didn't want us.
On the app. So, yeah. Their library stinked, obviously, because there's not a lot of podcasts and the big ones pulled out or didn't sign up. Things like that. It's been an absolute disaster. I wouldn't be surprised if we see this app shut down soon.
Oh, yeah, totally. We're moving away from paywalls as a whole conglomerate, the world. We're moving more towards the ad-centered. If you look at major media platforms, you look at YouTube, we're moving away from paywalls.
Those are all ad-centered, but they're throwing in subscriptions on top of it.
Subscriptions are definitely a part of the market, but I think in total we are moving to an ad-centered media.
Maybe.
If you look, we have ads, YouTube has ads. Pretty much anywhere you look, you can find an ad on the internet.
Yeah, I think that's fair. I think that with the thing that we're seeing more, especially in television, is this whole idea of subscription services. Where you subscribe and get exclusive content from that one provider. I think that's where we're seeing a big burst. And like I said, I've complained about on the show multiple times, there's too many dang TV subscription services nowadays. So I wouldn't say the whole world as a whole is moving towards this ad-based thing. I think that's a bit of an absurd statement when we're seeing all these TV subscription services pop up.
I don't believe it's fast, but I believe in general. If you look...
We're not
5-10 years ago.
We're not seeing TV subscription services built off of ad revenue, though.
We are sort of.
Well,
you look at Hulu. Their base model is a subscription plus ads. You look at YouTube TV, subscription plus ads. It's a mix, but ads are definitely
there. But the thing is we're not seeing free apps with ads.
Well, besides community driven. Which, I think in general media is moving towards.
General media, I'll give you the agree to disagree on that.
Okay.
It depends on where you're looking. If you're looking for TV, you're definitely going to have the problem of TV subscription services being paid. If you're looking at general media, yeah, you got YouTube and stuff that's ad driven, but there's really not a big push towards ad. If anything, ads annoy people.
Well, I mean, we may have to get into this later.
Yeah, we might have to. Yeah, we got to go ahead and get wrapping up here on the show in just a second. I also want to talk about Sprint and AT&T really fast. Because they settled their lawsuit. We talked about this on the show a couple weeks ago.
Yep.
Basically, AT&T has this whole program called 5GE. It's this little thing that pops up on your phones when you're connected to a 5GE network that says basically you're on the fastest 4G speeds possible.
Yeah.
It's called 5G Evolution. And Sprint said, hey, this is kind of misleading, and sued them. Unfortunately, they settled, and AT&T gets to continue using this 5GE thing. I think the 5GE thing is absurd.
Yeah, it's not real 5G.
They're using it on commercials, and your average Joe is going to look at these commercials
it's
and
false
go,
advertising.
They're going to think, oh, wow, they've got the first 5G network. No, we don't have any 5G networks deployed yet.
Yeah.
So, I do think it is very, very, very absurd. I personally, in my opinion, unbiased here, think that it is definitely false advertising.
Oh, yeah.
I don't think that they should be allowed to continue using it. It's not 5G. It's just the fastest 4G speeds possible.
Yeah.
If you want to call it 4G plus, go right ahead.
4GE.
Yeah,
well, whatever you want to do.
Whatever you want to do. Just don't call it 5G unless it's 5G speeds yet.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I think that's pretty ridiculous. And the fact that AT&T gets to continue using it...
Mildly infuriating.
Mildly infuriating. And not only that, but it's been included in stock Android as well. We only saw it on Samsung and iPhones. Well, now, pretty much every Android phone is going to have this stupid little icon now.
Yeah.
So, very annoying stuff there. I think you have one story about Windows 10 really fast.
Yep. This one makes me happy.
Okay.
This one makes me very, very happy. So... we all know that Microsoft Paint was going to go away for a while.
Yeah, because they were going to replace it with Paint 3D.
Which is, in my opinion, my humble opinion, much, much worse than Microsoft Paint.
It is.
I mean...
I've tried it. I can't use it.
Anybody who's used Paint 3D knows that it's not the same feel of that janky Microsoft Paint. But after some discussion and after some time... and some riots from the people who use Windows 10, like me, they're bringing back Microsoft Paint. It's not going to go away.
Yeah, it's not going to go away. It's still going to be there, which I think is kind of cool. Because it's the nostalgia.
Yeah.
It really is. But not only that, but like it's not. Just to make it clear, it wasn't removed, but they did start putting up messages saying this is going to be going away soon in the next update. And suddenly, this update is about to ship. Microsoft Paint is still there.
Yeah.
And the messages are now gone, saying that it's going away. So, obviously, they've decided for whatever reason to cancel the whole process of making it go away, which is cool.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, I'd be sad to see it go.
I would too.
It's such a historic part of Microsoft history.
Riot and go back to Windows 7.
Yeah, I'd go back to Windows 8 or Windows 7. I'd downgrade.
Yeah, but cool little tech story there, I guess. The next update is shipping pretty soon. There's actually been a new issue discovered in it. I'm sidetracking here, but that's okay. Because the new update, they're having some issues with the drive naming.
Oh, really?
And if you have a USB drive or you use SD cards, it won't let you update.
Really?
They've blocked computers that are using SD cards and USB storage from updating, which is kind of interesting because they're having some sort of issue with the update. So keep that in mind. If you want the update, you need to unplug your stuff because you might have some issues there. That's all we've got for Let's Talk Tech, though.
Yeah.
It's been a good episode. Lots of interesting stuff there. Hopefully Samsung gets their garbage sorted out.
Yeah, hopefully.
I knew it was a safe bet to be skeptical of these things, though. It just didn't. It seemed too good to be true.
It's too new.
Yeah,
too new.
Too good to be true. Tesla, very exciting stuff there. Luminary. This is what you guys get for not letting us on your app. You know,
honestly,
you don't get us,
Mm-hmm.
so we're not gonna use. No, I'm just kidding. Yeah, no, Luminary, get your stuff together.
Yeah.
And AT&T and all that.
Annoying.
Infuriating. And good old Microsoft Paint.
It stays in my heart just a little bit longer.
But yeah, thank you so much for tuning in. Make sure you subscribe wherever you get your podcasts.
Except Luminary.
Yeah, except Luminary. Yeah, exactly. Because we are not available there. But check us out. Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts. I'm trying to think. Stitcher. Pretty much anywhere you get podcasts these days.
Yeah.
Except Luminary.
Yeah, because they hate us.
Yeah. That's pretty much it, though, for Let's Talk Tech. Thank you so much for watching.
Mm-hmm.
I guess we will catch you in the next episode. Oh, leave us a 5-star review.
Please, we need it.
On Apple Podcasts.
We deserve it.
We really do. I mean, so much work goes into this every week. But, yeah, that's all we got. Let's Talk Tech. Thanks for talking tech with us.
See you in episode 15.